What you're looking at is something I really wasn't looking for, but my eyes caught something. I say that because I was just seeing where the roads went on Google Maps and I spotted it. Do you see it? There's some type of structure, and from the looks of it, it's been sitting there for decades. And I'm not certain yet, but it may be related to something as part of our history. The good news though is that I can literally drive right up to it, and once we're on site, I'm going to tell you a few additional details. So if you're ready to find out what it is and see if it's still there, you know what to do. Just come along with me. Now before heading to the location, we're making a quick pit stop because I actually found something on the way there, and it's right there. Do you see it? Well, that could be a clue of the area we're in and what this item or structure could be related to. But before we go anywhere, let's check that out first. So this I found by pure chance of luck because I was literally driving down the road looking for a place to turn around, and where I turned around at, well, this was sitting here. And I know of another structure like this in the area, but it's rather off limits due to a construction project taking place all around it. But this one is kind of just sitting here in a field. Now I don't know offhand what it is. I can tell you what I think it looks like. It looks like possibly a head frame, where there could have been like a cable winch system for something vertical, or it could be a type of tipple or hopper. Really don't know. I don't know if we can actually get inside. It's severely overgrown around it, but I'll do my best to check it out, share what clues and details I can. Looks like it is made out of corrugated metal. There's a steel frame above it there. And I'm sure anything that was attached to as far as equipment or other items that would have helped identify it have been removed. Now coming here wintertime would be the best time, but well, that's months away. You can see size comparison too with those power lines there. Noticing some metal sheets out here. I honestly don't know. I don't want to encounter any ticks or snakes, but I am curious about getting in there, so I'm gonna press ahead and see if I could worm my way in there. I'm sure some of you know what it is exactly by looking at it. The only thing I could tell you is I'm pretty sure it's related to coal mining. Whether it be a tipple, which in a sense is like a type of hopper, or a head frame for a cable system. I think if we get a peek inside, I'll be able to identify it. But it is really, really overgrown. I don't even know if this is the way to go in, or if it's better going from the back side. So let me see what I could do. I'm gonna snoop around, try to find the path of least resistance, and at least give you a glimpse on the inside before we move on. So hang tight, I'm gonna do what I can. All right, it wasn't easy. I got cut up a little bit by some pickers or stickers, thorns, but we are here. And initially, not aiding with a whole lot of clues, but there's a boot right here. Literally falling apart. Random items inside here. Looks like it's a wooden floor, which does give me cause for concern because I don't know if there's a solid ground underneath it or not. I wonder if someone was taking shelter in here. I was looking up through the roof, up at the steel frame up there. It's like there's a partial roof right here, which had plywood on it, which is falling through. But over there is a rectangle metal frame. So I'm gonna carefully make my way over there and see if that is indeed something. But this floor is soft. Okay, it looks like there's dirt beneath it, so we're okay. I think that's a part of a dog kennel. There's a book here about anthracite. That's a good sign. Axman Anderson Anthrotube, steam, vapor, and hot water. 1976. This is interesting. So I'm literally standing on the metal framing here, And there's a couple of chains here. The steel frame up there is offset from where I am. It's not directly over this, I don't believe. Nor is there a hole in the roof directly over this. Unless this opens like a hatch. So I have some confusing thoughts here because this doesn't make a whole lot of sense from what I'm seeing. I was expecting there to be something directly overhead for the frame coming into here, and it doesn't appear to be that way. It does look like a square door hatch though that could be pulled or pushed open. But this doesn't look like a hopper, doesn't look like a tipple. But what is down there? There is water down there. Okay. This might be an old shaft. I'm going to try to get something to drop so you could see and hear how far it is, because it's not super deep. It is plugged up, but I mean, see, it's hard to tell because there's like a round circular, yeah, there's like a manhole sized pipe going down where we are. Part of the lid is like right there. It's like half open, half closed. So yeah, this is interesting. Let me get something. Okay, I'm going to drop this. Yeah, so where I am to where that fell, that's maybe 7-8 feet. I don't know how deep the water goes, but there's things that were deliberately tossed in here. We're actually looking at a cat tower. That's what's laying there on top of the hole. Okay, yeah, I moved a couple pieces of wood, so that pipe is probably 3 to 4 feet in diameter. Looks like it's intentionally placed there. There's a half open hatch on it, and there's water inside. So I wonder if that was, or if this was like an escape way for the mines, like a secondary exit if there was an issue. Like I know, for example, I apologize, I'm sweating in here. I like the Lackawanna Coal Mine Tour. They have a capsule. Actually, yeah, that looks like this now I'm thinking about it. I'm going to show you a picture, or at least a video clip of what I'm talking about. Lackawanna Coal Mine Tour, McDade Park, has a structure similar to this, where they have a head frame above it, and they had a capsule, or they do have a capsule, that they open a hatch like that. The capsule lowers down roughly, I think, 250 feet, 200 feet beneath the surface, and actually rode in that when the man trip blew an axle back in the early 2000s. That might be what we're looking at here. This might be an escape passage, or escape tunnel, or escape way, whatever the proper terminology is. I'm lacking it right now. But this is kind of pointing towards that. But again, I'm not seeing a whole lot in here to indicate more than that. Like, was there a motor in here? Something that powered it? Most likely. I don't know if it would have been mounted on here. That's what this frame is. I mean, there's a lot of anchor bolts coming out and holes where things could have been mounted. So there could have been a motor mount here, and the frame up above that we saw from the outside maybe had pulleys on it to lower the capsule in and out. If it's not that, which I could be really overthinking it, if it's not that, then I truly don't know what it is. But that's what all signs are pointing. That's from my experience. I'm by no means an expert, but it is pointing towards that. So maybe I'm on the right direction with things. I could be off slightly. So those of you watching, if you do have more information based on what I'm able to share or show you, and you could say one way or the other what it is, but the building does seem similar to the one at Lackawanna Coal Mine Tour. Has a head frame, has a hole for the capsule. So if that is indeed true, this hole right here with water went down into the mines. And it may be plugged up deeper down. And after rain and stuff like that, it just collected in there. And people were throwing stuff in there to try to block it up too, probably for safety reasons. But I'm thinking that's what we're looking at. There's not a whole lot else going on in here. Looks like maybe storage in more recent times. So we do have that large metal structure there too. which I believe connects up to the roof. So, a few clues, some unanswered questions, but I think we're in the right direction. I'm very, very confident this is related to coal mining. We have a book there, a binder, talking about anthracite. And here's a center console to, looks like maybe a side-by-side or something. So like I said, this could be right on the same track of what we're gonna go find of our target, because it's in an area that is similar to this. Like I said, we'll give a few more details once we do arrive, but I know of another one of these not too far from here, a town or two away, and I've always wanted to check it out, but it is in the midst of a construction project, so that may have to wait for a future time when the area has cleared out. But I'm gonna make my way through the thorny jungle here, and we're gonna head to our actual target location, which I could literally drive right up to and park alongside the road. So we're gonna do that, and next clip you see will be on target. I'm gonna confirm it with GPS that's the same target that we found on Google Maps accidentally. Well, I was able to park about 100 feet away. Close enough. Oh, wait, got some bonus items here. This makes sense. Okay, now I know what I'm looking at, somewhat. So before we get to our actual target, which is just up there, I guess I should talk about a few additional details pertaining to what we're looking at here and this overall entire area. So what I can tell you is, going back in the older maps, there's two maps I found for this area. First one's 1938. That map may or may not show that actual structure. It's hard to tell with the clarity and the landscape. Looks like something's there, but I can't really identify for sure. So I'm gonna say most likely the structure that we're going to was there around that time. And what we're looking at here is, I believe, our old homes that were here. Small, sort of like a small patch town, which is a little town that's basically created for the mine workers and their families. Jump ahead to 1958. These homes are definitely visible here, as well as that structure. So that structure, for the most part, as far as I know, is still intact, more than what we're looking at here, which are just foundations. But I'm pretty certain these were small homes for a patch town, because behind us, this is all strip mining land. It is all mined for coal decades ago. And there still is active mining taking place in the area. I actually drove past it on the way here, but nature's reclaiming. I think there's trails down here now, which is for redding anthracite. You have to have a pass to ride off-road vehicles. But that's what we're looking at. Big strip mining wasteland. And right along the road here were these structures, which I'm about 90% confident these were homes. A lot of telltale signs. You can see they had a lower level with some windows. There was a chimney right there. The floor is gone. Would have been completely made out of wood. They may have burned. They may have been just crumbled over time. But there's at least two of them right here. Maybe more, but they did definitely show up on the 1958 map. Not sure if they showed up on the 1938 map, but let's see if we can walk around the perimeter here. Get a little glimpse of the lay of the land and see if there's anything behind the structure here. There's like a bedpan down there. Hopefully this is solid. Looks like a chimney right there. And today, a lot of dumped materials. I see a lot of brick, which is probably from the chimney. Here's a file. Would have been a window right here, window right there. And it looks like there may have been another one right there, but the foundation itself is gone, but you can see like the outline of it and a lot of garbage over there. I'm actually sitting on a tree right here, right along the side of the house. From what I remember, because I don't have those images with me, there was about 3 or 4 homes. There may have been 1 or 2 on the other side as well. Because I can see a cutout of the land, which I'll show you in just a moment, but if these weren't patch town houses, these may have been buildings for the mining site. But I'm thinking more than likely houses. And I'm basically walking the beam here like on a tightrope. It's a yellow Goodyear Wrangler, and as I mentioned, I think there was another home right here too. And I think something small right there, a small structure where that indentation is. Yeah, look, it looks like even, is that part of a sidewalk? Or foundation walls? So that's posted for down here. Like I said, we already know that's rutting anthracite. But where we want to go is just up here. I can start to see it. Do you want the good news or the bad news? Good news? Okay, good news is our target is still here. This is our structure. I confirmed it with GPS. We are on location. The bad news though is that this is in, there's someone pulling off right here, much worse condition than what I was imagining on Google Maps. And it is barely holding on. I don't know why someone just pulled in here though. I think they're lost. So we have the most intact structure here. The rest of it is basically collapsed and a frame. I don't know if we could get inside. Don't know if it's even safe to go inside. But there is a little tiny road going down next to it. So we're gonna try and get some more visuals, find out what this used to be, maybe identify some things left behind. Yeah, this is unfortunate. On Google Earth, it looked more intact than what this is. This has gone downhill in recent years. We could definitely walk through there. I mean, I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna get cut up probably, maybe attract a tick or two, but I came here to document this, so we're gonna do just that. I'm not gonna go beyond the building though, because that is the trails down there. I don't have a permit. But you can see the building does protrude out a little further in that direction. There's like a retaining brace right there. Concrete for the foundation. Wood for the roof. And let's see if we can safely make our way inside. All right, safely inside. Not the safest location because I'm stepping on planks of wood. There's nails, there's a lot of rusty items. And I'm noticing pulleys right here. These look like the beams for either the main floor or maybe a second floor, but there's little pulleys on them though, so cables or wires came through here. So that's something worth noting. I was thinking initially, since this is close to the road, I thought this was a way station for the trucks, but I don't believe that because I didn't see a scale or anything like that. And the land behind this kind of drops down as we saw. Yeah, everywhere we're looking, every basically joist has a pulley attached to it. So I'm wondering, this could be something that does come to mind, which I learned through my mining friends and doing research. This could have been what is known as a shifting shanty, basically where the miners come to change into their clothes. And what they would do is have hooks on pulleys or like chains. And what they would do is lower it down like maybe a basket, take out their work clothes, put in their personal clothes, raise it back up and kind of lock it off. Each miner or worker had their own individual basket or pulley, probably with a lock, so that their stuff was kept safe while they're working. It's basically like the early days of a locker. It just says it's suspended in midair. I'm not saying that's what this is, but that does come to mind with all those pulleys. There's a lot of pulleys on all these joists. So if it's not that, well, what are we looking at then? Your question is as good as mine. There's a relatively modern light receptacle. I mean, it could be as back far as maybe the 70s or 80s, but modern comparatively speaking. Looks like something was mounted up here, some nails. That might be for a fire extinguisher. There's a manway here. Looks like steps on the left-hand side going up to the road. And this looks pretty thick and overgrown back there. There was a light in here too. Something was mounted here. Almost looks like a paper towel holder. You can see me walking through here, give it a sense of scale. Walls are about 7-8 foot high. So what we see here, this concrete here protruding out, is what we saw on the other side where there's a slant on the backhand side. So it's like a brace or a support. So everywhere we see these protrusions, there's concrete behind it at an angle as like support for the walls. Looks like another manway here. And that building, like I said, that part protrudes out. We'll try to get to that, but it's really, really sketchy. Tile on the floor. A lot of wood, obviously. Primarily a wooden structure. There's 2 windows up there, small windows here. Corrugated metal over those windows over there. And we have a little hidey hole right there, if you want to call it that. But let's keep checking out, see if we find any more clues. May or may not tell us what this building was used for. Okay, let's look at where we just were hanging out under the intact roof. Just notice there's something here. What is that? Some type of appliance. It's like a little washer dryer, miniature one. So back here, oh, there's someone here. They're walking right by. They don't even know I'm in here. Give them a good scare if they come in and see me hanging out. So this part protrudes out. And this is looking backside of where we're inside of. So with the roof intact there, we know it's no taller than that. I think this was just like the main floor and only had joists and beams. There was no floor above it. Cinder block. You can see more framing, more windows. It's probably more visible than I'd realized, but unless I'm here in the winter, I'm not going to see it right now. Oh yeah, there's their ATVs right down there. They didn't come inside, they just went up by the road to look at it. See some hardware, some washers. There's a beam right here that was cut. Beyond that, there may be more clues that are on the floor and they're just not visible. I'm not here the right time of year, but this is when I happen to be able to come here. And I didn't want to put it off. And if I did, I mean, obviously this is not going anywhere. It would just be in worse condition. So let's get back roadside, see if we missed anything, see if maybe there's an old sign or a date or something. But beyond that, I mean, manway over there looks like a larger opening. Could have been double doors or a type of sliding door over here as well. But everything else is just rubble, debris, thorns and nails, and not the most inviting location currently, but I'm glad it's still here though. That's a good sign. Oh, looking too. These these are windows, and you can tell they open. So there's a pull chain right there, which is kind of dangling. So you can pull that to unlock it. And it looks like that's like a lever that you would pull to kind of prop it open for ventilation. So that's interesting too. Some of the old hardware is still here. But without a doubt, there's pulleys on every joist all the way down. So there's well over a dozen pulleys, at least that we could see. So that's a helpful clue. Did we miss anything? Well, if we did, it's just because we can't see it. Without a doubt, this has been abandoned, unused, sitting here like this for decades. And although it doesn't look like it's intentionally vandalized, most of what we do see is just natural decay. The weather, the elements, it's just doing it naturally, tearing it down. But on Google Maps though, Google Earth, it did look much more intact than what we see today. But this has not seen any type of life or use or maintenance, I'd say at least 30 years, if not more. Let me get to a little bit safer area away from the road. I'm gonna share a couple additional thoughts. This is where I was sitting before talking to you guys. I figure we'll come back here, get a little bit away from the road. I was looking down too, noticing some old mason jars down here and some old wine bottles. There's a good likelihood they could have been dumped here because there's a lot of dumped material, but maybe some of these could be from when people resided here. And I wouldn't be surprised if people have come here and scanned it with the metal detector, trying to find some old coins or something. But I am pretty confident though, where I'm sitting, what we're looking at is the old patch town. Just a small grouping of homes for the mine workers and their families. They haven't been here for many, many decades. We know there was definitely 3, maybe 4 of them, and they were in walking distance of that building that we came from. And that building, without any certainty, because there's not a lot left to it, those pulleys is what gives me the biggest clues. Those pulleys are not big, oversized, industrial, heavy pulleys. They're small. They're not made for a lot of weight, which means someone's just going to be pulling a cable or a rope or a chain and nothing hooked up to it like a piece of machinery, like a winch or a hoist. So the only thing that comes to mind, just because of what I've seen, I've been inside other shifting shanties before. They're similar sized structures, and they have the chains and baskets. You can even see them too at the, I think Lansford number 9 has a good representation of a shifting shanty with the basket hanging with the workers' clothes. There's a lot of truck activity on this road because they're going to and from a nearby mining company. So if it's not a shifting shanty, what could it be? Honestly, I don't know. I think it's one floor, one level, a little bit subterranean because it's on an embankment. There may have been like a break room or an office in there, especially that protruding part. And we know there was windows that could be open for ventilation, but there's well over a dozen pulleys. So shifting shanty does come to mind. Could likely be that because we are in anthracite territory. We have homes here, a work site there, and the modern wasteland behind us, which is now being enjoyed by off-road enthusiasts. But at one time, a lot of activity going on right behind me there with, I don't know if there was underground mining, but definitely strip mining. So it all definitely plays a part in history of Pennsylvania, specifically anthracite mining history. So I'm glad we were able to find this one. Again, I was just looking for the roads to see where they go. That appeared. And then our bonus find, where we started our video, of what I'm calling a head frame or hoist house, because I'm pretty confident what we were looking at there was a steel pipe that had a hatch on it, that had a capsule that went inside that was lowered by industrial sized pulleys and cables, which are no longer there on the steel head frame above it on the outside. If it's not that, by all means, educate me down below. But I think everything we checked out today is related to anthracite mining history. Some of the clues and details and thoughts may be slightly off, but I think we're in the right direction. Although we didn't find anything super amazing or significant, everything that we saw today tells a story and helps paint a little bit of a picture of what was going on here back in the day with the older images, the going back a few decades on Google Earth, and then being here today. We investigated to the best of our abilities. The only way to do it better is to come back in the wintertime, which I may or may not do if I'm in the area. But if you do enjoy these Google Finds adventures, don't worry, I have another one coming out right after this one. So make sure to check back to the channel And anyways, thanks for watching. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.